What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Turf Talk. I'm glad you guys are here to join us today. We got sort of a jam-packed episode. Obviously, we're going to jump into the Thursday night football game. Before we get started here, I got to introduce my co-host here, Dylan Davis at DylanJD98 on Twitter. You guys know him. Make sure you're following him on Twitter. You guys know me, Scotty, at Scotty Drowned on Twitter, on Instagram, all over. Make sure you're following me. Make sure you're following DSM Media. That's who this is all presented by, at DSM_media on Twitter. Make sure, if you don't already, go follow, go retweet, like the picture of the Jalen Hurts t-shirt. We are doing a Jalen Hurts t-shirt giveaway for Fuck Dallas Week. So make sure to get in on that. Get your entries in. The more places that you follow us, the more places that you subscribe, the more chances you have to win the shirt. But we're definitely looking forward to that giveaway. Dylan, my man, what's up?
What's going on, Scott? Glad to be back on another episode of Turf Talk. It's weird. This is a different week, man. We had a Monday episode already, so the vibe is a little bit different. But obviously we let our guest Jordan Elliott, great guest. We let him do a majority of the examining and speaking on that show. So we'll break down the 49ers and Eagles game more on to open up tonight's show. But yeah, the vibe's different. It's not quite as fun preparing for this Thursday edition when coming off of a loss compared to his coming off of an Eagles victory. So, but a lot of talk about a lot of negatives to talk about with last Sunday's game, but very fixable negatives, but negatives nonetheless.
That is very true. What's up, Adam? Thanks for tapping in. Thanks for the comments. Make sure to keep them coming.
Great picture, Adam. Great picture.
Yes, lovely picture, man.
MV3.
I was watching you guys earlier on Diamond Talk. We got to talk about it more. Bryce Harper is the MVP, and I don't.
Sure. Well, the betting sites will back you, Scott. They not only has he like risen to tying with Tatis today, you can get him at -250. He's the odds-on favorite to win MVP right now.
And I really hope he gets it. Obviously, I hope the Phillies make the playoffs, but I really hope Bryce Harper gets his recognition for his great play this season. You know, It's not talked about nearly.
Overpaid, overrated. Okay.
Hey, Adam. Yes, sir. Go Phillies. Let's go. But let's go ahead. Let's dive into the Eagles 49ers. Definitely want to touch up on that. We didn't get a chance to say much about that game. Obviously, we let Jordan Elliott, as you mentioned, really dive into that game. And thank you to him for coming on. That was very in-depth analysis, and it was nice to hear from an outside perspective. But Dylan, takeaways from the 49ers-Eagles game. What are your feelings coming out of that game going into this week? Obviously, we're not going to get into the Dallas Eagles matchup just yet. We're going to do that Monday night on a special episode. But just initial takeaways from that 49ers matchup.
The first thing that sticks out, obviously, is Nick Sirianni and his shortcomings and his play calling on Sunday afternoon, right? So it's something I talked about earlier in the week, and it's something I'll continue to talk about until he cleans it up. So the whole question, Scott, after week one in Atlanta, like they passed that first test with flying colors. He looked phenomenal. The offense looked phenomenal. No complaints, right? The next question I phrased to you guys after that win was, okay, tape's out now. How does Nick Sirianni adjust his game plan? San Fran's going to know. San Fran knows what they like to do, their tendencies from week one. If they take that away, how can he adjust, right?
Yeah.
He adjusted. I'm afraid he tried to adjust too much. And what I mean by this is I saw two numbers starting out there on Sunday night. Eagles were in 11 personnel 75% of the time on Sunday afternoon. That's 15% higher than they were in week one versus Atlanta. Jalen Hurts yards per attempt, like the air yardage from first passes, went from the lowest in the league week one, 3.7 yards per, to highest in the NFL in week two, almost 15 yards, 14.6 yards per attempt, Scott. We talked about how we wanted to see them stretch the ball down the field and Jalen Hurts used that arm and everything like that. He tried too hard, I'm afraid. For God's sake, he pulled out the Philly special on 4th and goal, put the Philly special in a box, lock it, throw away the key, and never run the Philly special again. Nick Sirianni, I believe in him. I believe that he will clean it up. He has held himself accountable since Sunday. But yeah, he did not have a good day on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, and you kind of hit the nail on the head there. Nick Sirianni kind of just outsmarted himself, right? Like, not only I do think part of it is, Kyle Shanahan is a great coach. He's a great
for sure,
not only offensive mind, but they've had a stout defense in San Francisco for a while. But you don't come out there and you don't do what I'm trying to say is he should have just carried on from week one, did what Jalen Hurts is comfortable against a defense like that. You got to put him in positions to be successful. And ultimately, if you look at his pass chart, I know you mentioned the air yards, but even just the spots on the field where he was throwing the ball, there was nothing in the middle of the field. It was all on the outside. It was all deep routes, as you mentioned. Yeah. And quite frankly, there just wasn't enough effort for me to get particular players involved. So, you see Quez Watkins go off early, really not even mentioned again in the game after that 91-yard catch. Devontae Smith got a few catches early.
Scott, not to cut you off, but the whole point of that is, I don't know if you saw this, the last catch from an Eagles wide receiver came with 7 minutes and 12 seconds left in the first half. That says it all right there.
Yeah, that can't happen.
No.
You got to make a point at that point, just like they did in week one. Get Jalen Reagor involved in the screen game. Get the ball in his hands so he can make plays after the catch. Make it easy for them. And that was part of the problem there, I feel like, is that they didn't get a rhythm at all in that game. And, it was kind of like, I know Javon Kinlaw said it after the game, the Eagles kind of just crumbled first, right? And that is kind of what happened. The 49ers stuck to what they're good at, running the football, making things easy on Jimmy G. And the Eagles kind of stepped out of their element there. They didn't run the football that much in the second half. And once the 49ers drove down the field and scored again, you're down by 2 scores. Now you have to pass the ball. And, my biggest thing was just not only Devontae Smith, because I feel like he got 7 targets. I think he needs at least 10 a game, in my opinion, honestly. I think he's that good. I think he's that talented route running. I think he gets that much space. The other thing that I'm looking at, they didn't get Zach Ertz or Goddard involved in that game at all. You saw Goddard with his first catch. I think it was in the fourth quarter. He had like 2 catches on the same drive, I believe. And they ultimately ended up scoring a touchdown. I know it was, kind of, garbage time at that point, but they were still in the game, right? Like,
yeah,
you can call it garbage time, but they only scored 17 points at the end of the day, and it was a 1-score game at the end of the game. So I was disappointed just with the overall game plan on offense. I thought the defense played pretty good, pretty amazing, honestly. To only give up 17 points, only 23 points across the first 2 games. And these aren't terrible offenses. You got a great offensive mind in Kyle Shanahan, and you got, Atlanta Falcons team. You can say what you want, but how many points did they put up against Tampa Bay? Right? So I'm impressed with the defense so far. I'll kind of let you digress. I talked a little bit there. Was there any other takeaways from that game that you're looking at specifically?
Yeah, man, you hit on a lot of good points. Obviously, we already touched on Nick Sirianni's play calling, red zone calls, the 4 straight plays at the goal line with no runs. The defense has been really good through the first 2 weeks. It's been the one consistent thing on this team through 2 games so far. They looked unreal. Obviously, they still find a way to make you pull your hair out because although they held San Fran to 17 points, they did something they haven't done in 2 decades. And because both of San Fran's touchdown drives started inside their own 10-yard line. So although you held them to 17 points, the 2 touchdowns you gave up were 90-plus yard drives.
Backbreaking.
Very time-consuming drives. So that really hurt there, right? And you mentioned the tight ends, not getting them involved. Total between Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert, 3 catches, 30 yards. Dallas Goedert had 2 for 24. Zach Ertz had 1 catch for 6 yards. Yeah. After TJ Hawkinson tore up that San Fran defense, the week prior. Yeah. So I was very confused as why they didn't try to get the guys involved, the tight ends involved. And you know what? I don't want to hear San Fran took it away. San Fran, no. You find a way to get them the damn football. There is no San Fran took it away for 4 straight quarters. It didn't happen. Okay.
You insert your will. If you're
Exactly.
a good team, you make it known. Yeah.
Exactly. One thing I didn't like as well, this goes kind of with the play calling too. The lack of getting Miles Sanders going.
Yeah.
Listen, man, the Eagles, I think I saw today, the Eagles are the best rushing team. They're number 1 rushing team in the NFC. They're number 2 in the entire NFL right now. The large part due to Jalen Hurts having that dual threat ability. But when you have it back like Miles Sanders, and I was texting, you were at the game, and I sent you a text. The one drive, Miles Sanders was picking up first down after first down.
Right at the beginning of the second half.
He pulls them and goes to Kenny G for 2 straight runs, and they got stopped at the line of scrimmage. Now, I'm not saying Miles Sanders wouldn't have got stopped at the line of scrimmage. I don't know, but he's getting into a rhythm. He's picking up chunk yardage and first downs. You don't yank him and go with another back, okay? I didn't like that at all. The last thing, well, there's more, but the one thing I'll throw to you is Jalen Hurts. Was Jalen Hurts terrible? No, he didn't force anything again. He didn't turn the ball over again. Those are 2 really good things.
Yeah.
He missed some guys. Like I remember there was a first down. Jordan Elliott actually spoke on it. There was a first down where if he would have just got the ball to Goddard underneath, it would have been a first down pickup. And he didn't. And he tried to go for the bigger play. It wasn't even a big play, but he tried to push the ball down the field a little bit in the tight coverage, incompletion, punt the ball, right? And then the other thing is his deep ball, whatever you want to call it, whether it's accuracy, arm strength, footwork, timing. There's a big debate in Eagles Twitter right now what the issue is. It's not the arm strength, okay? I've seen the kid chuck the ball 50 to 60 yards down the field on target. I've seen it. Here's my issue with it. When they're open, he puts the ball on a dime. Jalen Reagor, the would-be touchdown if he didn't step out of bounds. He beat the corner by 2 or 3 steps. Put it in a basket. Yeah. Quez Watkins, wide open down the sideline, puts it on Quez Watkins. Every contested deep ball, every good coverage situation with a deep ball, every ball was underthrown, Scott. Every single one. The receivers never had a chance to make a play on the ball, really. The defender was in between the receiver and the ball. Obviously, Brian Westbrook broke down the Devontae Smith deep ball. And that's more so timing and footwork, right? His feet were wacky, not set in the right direction. He instead of just, if he would have led Devontae Smith to the ball, it could have been 6. He waits too long. And now it's basically, okay, they're so far down the field that he waited so long. Now it's let's stop, and it's a jump ball scenario kind of thing, right? Yeah. So that thing, they're fixable, but it was definitely something that stuck out and contributed to a loss.
Yeah, and I wanted to touch on your Miles Sanders point, which thank you, Jason, for tapping in. We love the comments.
Yes,
I definitely agree with what Jason's saying here. Miles Sanders should be Jalen Hurts' best friend in this offense. And I know we've joked about it in the past. Other people have reported it. We should be using Miles Sanders similarly to Christian McCaffrey. I'm not saying the volume. I'm not saying, that he's the receiving back that Christian McCaffrey is. I'm just saying a similar concept in the offense, right? And it just simply isn't happening. It hasn't happened with Doug. And I continually want to see it. As people have mentioned to me, maybe it's Miles Sanders. They're scared of his longevity, his durability as a running back. I'm not sure if I believe that. I just want to see it. If he's going to get injured, he's going to get injured. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, but with that being said, scared.
Yeah, you can't be scared. And then the final point on your Miles Sanders point that I have is we've seen Miles Sanders. He's a guy that can break one open at any point in the game. And in that in that game against the 49ers where points are so crucial, you need that type of game breaker in the offense at all times. Because you can't tell me that there wasn't a point where Miles Sanders could potentially break away for a 60-yard touchdown. He broke away 80-yard touchdowns.
First and goal at the 1, 4 plays, and he doesn't touch the football.
That doesn't make sense.
No.
Doesn't make sense at all. And you mentioned the zone reads in the red zone. None of it. It was ridiculous in my eyes. To your Jalen Hurts point, and thanks, Mom, for checking in here. That's my mom down here.
Not a Jalen Hurts fan.
She's getting at a point, but one thing I noticed in this game, and part of it is Jalen Hurts. How many games has he started so far? What, like 5, 6, 7 games
with all young wide receivers.
Wide receivers, a new head coach, new system. So I'm not pinning Jalen Hurts on the cross like some of the fan base right now. I saw Facebook posts of Joe Flacco in for Hurts. That's ridiculous.
If there is a place worse than Eagles Twitter, it's Eagles Facebook.
Facebook.
So
I stay away from it, but I did see it come over to Eagles Twitter just because it was so bad. But with Jalen Hurts, you did see some of the concerns, right? Like his height and not seeing down the field. Is he missing guys in the middle of the field because he can't see over the offensive line?
Well, you said it. You were at the game. You said you saw a couple plays where Goddard or someone was open down the middle of the field.
In the middle of the field. Even that throw that you mentioned about that Brian Westbrook broke down. Not only was the footwork bad on that throw, but it was late. It was almost like saw it late, right?
And it didn't have to be. That's the problem. My problem with that particular throw is that it wasn't like he sees him and he saw him late and got rid of the ball. Scott, that was the rollout, and he kind of
hesitated.
Just kept like loading up almost. And I'm like, bro, release it.
You gotta let it rip. You gotta let it rip. And Jordan Elliott, he mentioned it on the show on Monday, how good the 49ers safeties are. And once you give them that much time to recover, it's a wrap. You're not going to be able to make that throw. They're going to get back. They're going to recover.
No, let me ask you this, Scott, because I do have one more, negative takeaway from the game, but this is another question that I have for you. Excuse me. The wide receivers, I mentioned no wide receiver, no tight end, no nothing, had more than 2 receptions on Sunday afternoon. The last wide receiver reception came with over 7 minutes left in the second quarter. Okay. Does that make you nervous as an Eagles fan? Because me and you have been, level-headed with these receivers, right? We're obviously over the top about Devontae Smith, but with the Reagor hype and the Watkins hype, when everyone's like, watch out, you're hating. No, I need to see it.
Yeah.
With how raw they are and young. Listen, those safeties for San Fran are good. And that pass rush is really good. And those linebackers are good. Those corners were depleted a little bit.
Yeah.
Josh Norman got called up 3 days before or whatever. A rookie was in place, starting his first game in place of Verrett. And you couldn't get any separation?
Yeah.
That's a problem to me going forward.
And so, Jason hit on a point here. He's very indecisive out of the pocket. Do you wonder if that's just kind of Sirianni drilling in his head, do not turn the ball over? Do you think that could be a part of it, where if a guy is not wide open, he's going to be very indecisive when making that throw? Is that a possibility?
It's definitely a possibility. It's also a possibility to what your mom said earlier. If he truly has poor vision, if he doesn't see the field correctly, and I'm not saying that's the case, but if that's a possibility, just like the Sirianni possibility, those two things, that's a little troubling. I would rather it be the Sirianni thing because they'll fix that up.
Yeah.
Vision isn't really that fixable.
The wide receiver
you got it or you don't.
Is a strong point that you bring up, though. It is definitely a concern. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to joke, because it's something that we've talked about throughout the offseason was, do we need a veteran wide receiver in this group, right? And we really don't have one in there. Really? You don't. It's Greg Ward. Is he the guy that's been here the long? That's ridiculous, right? So, we kind of just stepped aside from that thought, right? But in reality, if Devontae Smith is getting guarded by the team's best DB, so say in Dallas, if Devontae Smith is guarded by Trayvon Diggs, a good DB is going to make some plays on a good receiver. That's just what happens. Devontae Smith's young. He's still getting his feet under him in the league. If Jalen Reagor and Quez Watkins are doing this disappearing act, right, if they're not able to get open, because I do think Jalen Hurts can find the open guy. I don't, if they're running wide open, we've seen it. We've seen him put throws on the money. Are these guys not able to get open? It's a concern, right? And we'll be able to tell that a little bit more against Dallas, a defense that gives up a lot of passing yards, right? Yeah. So if we're not able to move the ball through the air, that's going to be very concerning.
You're 100% right.
We'll get into Dallas later. I could go into Dallas right now.
You're 100% right. And the issue is, while week 1 was very impressive and fun, seeing the screens and seeing the design plays to get the ball in Quez's and Jalen Reagor's hands early and let them make a play, that's great. But guess what, dude? That's extra stuff, right? Your number one job as a wide receiver, you need to be able to create separation on your own as a route runner with your speed like that way. So if Quez Watkins and Jalen Reagor are only effective when Nick Sirianni draws things up specifically to get them open, that's a problem. Devontae Smith, I don't have that worry. He had a tough game on Sunday. He drew a couple pass interference penalties, which was nice. He had a good game week 1. I've seen him. It's been very limited on the tape, but I've seen him create separation on his own, right? Heisman Trophy winning wide receiver. I don't have doubts there. Reagor and Quez, we'll see. Now, to Quez's credit,
have we overhyped them? Maybe
maybe not. It's too early to tell. To Quez's credit, he did drop the corner on the 91-yard play.
He did.
Like that wasn't designed, but that's one play, and that was one of his 2 catches. You get my point. So it's going to be interesting to see how these wide receivers develop. Again, that's why we as Eagles fans, we came in very level-headed and even-tempered, right, into the season. And now we finally got a taste of a loss, and it's a bad taste. And, we're like, oh, are these receivers really it? Is it?
Yeah.
We do have to slow down for a second because we expected them to be raw and growing pains. But if it continues, that's an issue. To your point, we're not going to discuss it yet, but a game against a Dallas Cowboys secondary and defense, I don't care if it's week 3. Yeah. You can't be getting shut down and not creating separation.
You're not going to Dallas and get shut down. That can't happen. That can't happen. Last 2 points for me. I don't know if you wanted to get into anything else with this game.
I got one more, yeah.
I got just 2 more points to finish up here with. I thought Jordan Mailata, that was the positive of the game for me. Just the way that he was blocking Nick Bosa in that game.
Yep.
Took care of business, right, on that left side, and one step closer to really truly stepping into form of that elite left tackle for the Philadelphia Eagles. The reason they invested that money into him. The final point for me, which is, I guess, a negative. Like I said, I was very impressed by the defense. We lost Brandon Graham. That's terrible. Prayers to Brandon Graham for a nice recovery. Hopefully he can come back next season. That's a terrible injury. With that being said, sacks and turnovers, man, we need them. And I'm hoping eventually, we'll start to see some different formations from Gannon. We'll start to see a little bit more pressure on the quarterback, maybe even this week against Dallas. But yes, I need more. I need more from the defense, right? That's the veteran group. That's where a lot of the veterans on the team are, and they got to start making plays. Hopefully Rodney McLeod can come back this week, get in the flow. But I just want to see turnovers and sacks. That's what good defenses do, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, the Dallas Cowboys are not a good defense, and they lead the league in turnovers right now. The Eagles are dead last in turnovers, as they don't have one. I see the name right here that Jason just pointed out. Yes, Javon Hargrave has been on a tear. Hassan Ridgeway has actually looked very good as well. Again, to your point on defense, but the Brandon Graham injury is freaking huge, not just for the production, but for the person, the leader, the personality, everything on the field. He'll be there on the sideline. I understand that. My issue was the snaps after Brandon Graham goes out. I know you saw that as well on Twitter.
Yeah.
The amount of snaps Josh Sweat got compared to Milton Williams and Derek Barnett, I believe. And Ryan Kerrigan. Kerrigan's not going to need to play more. He's going to.
Yeah, he has.
Sweat's going to need to play more. But I fully expect that to be okay, right? Now they have to start living life without PG. That was in the moment, right? Brandon Brooks obviously is on the IR now. That's a big hit. Landon Dickerson will get the start on Monday against the Cowboys. Yeah. That's where the depth comes in. My last, big negative takeaway. The defense was stout, dude. Defense was good on all 3 levels. Just the offense didn't have it on Sunday, okay?
Yeah.
Even though the offense didn't have it, and even though Jalen Hurts did not play a good game, and even though Nick Sirianni's play calling was dreadful, and even though the Eagles gave up 2 90-plus yard touchdown possessions, they shot themselves in the damn foot way too many times for me to be positive about this close game. They did it, dude. In a close game, you played yourself out of it by shooting yourselves in the foot. With a chance to go up 10-0 early, Jalen Reagor steps out of bounds before catching a deep touchdown pass. The link was riled up, and that kind of took the sails out of the link for a second. That drive results in a blocked field goal.
Yep.
So not 10-0, not 6-0, 3-0. After a would have been touchdown. Now, listen, if you want to say it was good defense, you had him on the boundary, but no, you need to know where you're at on the boundary. You need to know where you're at on the field. You can't step out of bounds at the 3-yard line when you have a chance to go up early against a good team. Yeah. After a 91-yard Hurts to Quez Watkins bomb, one of the longest plays in recent memory for the Eagles offense, followed by a Josh Norman pass interference penalty, set them up 1st and goal at the 1. The Eagles walk away with 0 points. That can't happen, right? Yeah. We saw the play calls. We saw the rollouts to one side of the field with one option. The play calls were a mess, not running the ball. That cannot happen. 1st and goal at the 1, you can't come away with 0 points.
Yeah.
And then following that, you allow San Fran, whose offense was completely dead in the water, to go 97 yards. And when it felt like we dominated and won the first half of the game, the scoreboard showed 7-3 San Fran.
All the momentum switched.
Then in the second half, you get a score, 17-11. You get the 2-point conversion. After a San Francisco fumble that would have set up a second and forever or whatever the down would have been, with time left. The Eagles didn't have timeouts. They were trying to get the ball back. They would have got the ball back if this doesn't happen. Derek Barnett does what Derek Barnett has done his entire career as an Eagle and commits a stupid-ass, unnecessary roughness penalty 9 years after the whistle was blown. That can't happen. Okay, that was it, Scott. That was. I know the Eagles forced a fumble the next play. I know they recovered it, and it's questionable if it should have been a helmet-to-helmet call. I get all that. I get that it should have been a delay game call on the fourth down QB sneak to end the game. I get that. You can't put the game in the ref's hands. You would have got the ball back with 2+ minutes or so, and gave Jalen Hurts and his offense an opportunity. But no, Derek Barnett had to be an idiot and push someone in the back out of bounds after the play was dead. Yeah. That was it.
Yeah, and see, the thing is,
mistakes.
The thing is, I didn't even see Derek Barnett. I was at the game, as you mentioned. I did not see Derek Barnett do it at first, but all I saw was his teammates running up and getting in his face like, you moron, right? Like, you moron. They knew that he's a moron. The game was intense as hell. He's a moron. Like, a part of me feels like if Brandon Graham didn't get injured in that game, I would be all the way done with this dude, man. And I know Sirianni and Gannon, they don't have that history with him like the fans do after seeing these, since he's came in the league, basically, that just is.
Yeah, dude, you're not a rookie anymore, man.
You're not a rookie to make my biggest immature
thing. You said it. You said it. It was a close, hard-fought defensive game, right? I get it. Sometimes just pushing and shoving extracurriculars. And he, maybe you get pushed and he retaliates and he gets a flag, right? That sucks, but you can't do that still, but whatever. No. He just decides for no reason at all to run towards the crowd and push a guy who's not even looking his way in the back after the whistle's blown. Like, dude, I don't understand what's going on up here for you to think that's a good idea.
Not only is it stupid, but you're a punk. You're not tough for pushing somebody in the back. Like, that's not like cool or tough or physical. Like, you're just a punk that's pushing somebody with their back turned to you. So, yeah, I'm totally over Barnett. As I said, maybe I wouldn't kick him off the team or something drastic like that, but I'd probably beat his ass, honestly. But you can't do that now with Brandon Graham out. You need as much depth as you can get. But yeah, he's so annoying for that. Like it's been his whole career, and after this season, I'm okay with him being totally gone. Like, forget.
And I think he will be. Now, Scott, to wrap up this Eagles 49ers segment, I do want to ask you a question, and you guys watching as well, feel free to comment. How are you feeling after the Eagles' first loss of the season? So here's my question to you. A, did you kind of get a reality check after the loss and feel like, okay, they played an awful Falcons team week 1. They took advantage, and now we see what their offense looked like against a formidable defense, and this is kind of what you think they are? Or do you find yourself saying, the Eagles only lost by 6 points to a good team in a game where, they shot themselves in the foot and the defense looked really good. Like, they can compete with good teams in this league. Where do you find yourself right now?
Honestly, somewhere in the middle of there. Like, honestly, part of me does think we got a little too hyped, over week one. It was a poor opponent, I guess. But at the same time, I do think this team has extreme potential. The fact that the defense is playing so well, the secondary is playing so well, that's a great sign. The run defense is there. They did not let San Francisco run the ball on them. Totally eliminated that. So the defense really gives me confidence. But the offense,
they eliminated Kittle too.
They eliminated Kittle. I think the offense, we're going to see games like this. I think that's the way it is. I think they're young players at the skill positions. They're going to make mistakes. I think that's going to happen. It's the stuff on the defensive side of the ball from Derek Barnett that can't happen. But the wide receivers, I think they're going to make mistakes. Jalen Hurts is going to make mistakes throughout the season. But you just hope that you see them develop over time. I'm not going to overreact. I still think, we'll get we'll get into it later. But I do think that Philadelphia can go into Dallas and beat them. Not saying that they will just yet, but they can.
To your mom's point, she's 100% right. It's not even just if you beat them. It's you better show up, and the two guys that need to show up is Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni, right? Like these are the two guys, right? And obviously we're going to talk about it Monday, but my point is going off of the San Fran game. These are the two guys who are, not fighting, but auditioning for their futures of this team. Yeah. Jalen Hurts is auditioning to be the franchise quarterback going forward. Nick Sirianni's auditioning to be maybe a long-term answer or an offensive, kind of guru here in Philadelphia. How do they respond after that kind of loss, after where the offense put up 11 points? Sirianni's play calling was horrible. Hurts had a bad passing day. How do they respond against a divisional rival on primetime TV? That's going to be very telling. Now, I'm not saying they have to go in and win, but how do those two respond, and how does the game play out? Going to be a lot of fun to talk about on Monday.
We will learn a lot about them on Monday. This is that game, and this is kind of where I'll leave it at. Like we said, I'm so eager to get into the
Dallas week, baby.
We're Dallas, man. I'm excited. But all this Ben Simmons talk bullshit. I'm ready for Dallas. But this is Jalen Hurts' chance, right? He can make this is what you would call a statement game that he can make, right? Everything's lining up for it. You had a disappointing loss. You're going into Dallas. Make it happen. The other thing that I'll say just to end the 49ers-Eagles talk, Nick Sirianni does have to do Jalen Hurts some favors here, right? He cannot put him in these positions to look like that or to not make him successful. This is Jalen Hurts' chance, right, to earn the position. So Nick Sirianni, while he's still figuring his stuff out, he definitely needs to put Jalen Hurts in some better positions to be successful. So Jalen Hurts can have a fair chance here, right? Like, if that doesn't happen, he's not going to get a fair chance. And that's kind of where I'll leave my thoughts on that game at. Just improve, show some growth next week or Monday, I should say. But let's get into some, the rest of week two. There was some other action in week two. If you want me to dive in first, I can kind of get into my week two disappointment. Every Thursday, we'll kind of do a disappointing game or a disappointing team. Anything that was disappointing for you.
Performance, yeah.
Week two surprise, right? Something good, something that caught you off guard, though. So disappointment for me this week was the Saints going and losing to the Panthers after they just blew out the Green Bay Packers. People were starting to hop back on the Jameis wagon. You had people saying the Saints were, contenders after everybody was kind of down-talking them, downplaying them, throughout the offseason. Jameis comes out, lays an egg, 2 interceptions. Famous Jameis is back, right? And the Saints get blown out 26-7 by the Panthers. Maybe we were sleeping on the Panthers. Maybe not. Maybe the Saints are just going to be inconsistent like that.
Let's give some credit to the two dudes here on Turf Talk. Because I believe in the summer when we did our NFC South predictions, me and you had the Carolina Panthers finishing second in that division behind Tampa Bay and above the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, you're right.
So,
you are correct.
We're not sleeping on anybody.
And we will get into some Panthers talk later tonight. Obviously, we're going to preview this Thursday night matchup. Don't know how much there is to talk about it, but we will get into that a little bit later. At least focus a little bit on the Panthers there. They are putting up what looks like to be a very good team. And then I guess I'll let you digress into your week 2 disappointment there, and then we'll get into.
Man, well, you brought up famous Jameis, and you said he's back, and my whole thing is I don't think he was ever gone. Listen, he had 5 touchdowns, or 4 or 5. Did he have 5? Yeah, he had 5 in week 1 versus Green Bay, I believe. But what did he throw for, like 128 yards? Like everything was a short field.
It was like 140.
The defense was dominant. They ran the ball down Green Bay's throat. So congratulations, he threw a couple touchdown passes. Everyone got so excited. This Saints defense looks awesome. Alvin Kamara, Jameis Winston is back. He's back, okay. That doesn't really surprise me. I mean, listen, I picked the Panthers to win this past week. Not on the show, but I had them winning this game. I didn't expect a 26-7 performance or whatever the hell it was. I didn't expect that at all. But yeah, I do like the Carolina Panthers this year, man. I like Matt Rule, the Darnold fit, and we'll see if they can continue there. My disappointment of the week is the Kansas City Chiefs. The number 2 on my top 5 power rankings, number 1 on your top 5 power rankings heading into week 2. Losing a close fought game to Lamar Jackson, who I literally, of course, I go on a rant about him the week leading into this game, and he leads them to a win. My opinion doesn't really change of him. He had a decent passing game.
He did what he does.
There were 2 picks, pick 6 to start the game. But
and
ultimately,
that interception was terrible. I mean, I put a tweet out and everybody was talking, coming back. For some reason, he has a ton of stands. There's a lot of people.
I know.
I guess because he's so exciting. He is an exciting player. Yeah. He's not the greatest quarterback. Like he's
exactly.
Great pass. He's not a great passer. And in that game, the second interception, he throws it into like quadruple coverage.
Yeah, dude. Here's where they ultimately win the game. They win the game with his legs and Baltimore's legs. And even though Baltimore has found themselves down their number 1 and number 2 running backs, they just keep picking up dudes off the street, off their couches that were good 8 years ago. And here comes Latavius Murray, and here comes Devontae Freeman, I believe. And they run the ball for over 250 yards against this Kansas City Chiefs defense. Yeah. That's not a recipe for success, okay? And that's where they found a way to win. And then obviously Clyde Edwards-Helaire puts the ball on the ground when the Chiefs were going to win that game. I forget the final score, but they only needed a field goal, right? They were just Mahomes got them across midfield like that, and they were just setting up to kick a field goal for the win. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire puts the ball on the ground, game over. They don't see it again. So I'm disappointed in KC this week, man.
Yeah, and it's funny you bring that up because that was kind of my surprise of the week. So I'll kind of just digress on your disappointment of the week. I was surprised that the Ravens went out there, really upset the Chiefs, but also just surprised that the Chiefs' defense is just so bad. Like you said, they ran for 250 yards. The Chiefs couldn't stop them once Lamar Jackson decided he was going to run the football on them. He did whatever he wanted as far as the run game. And you saw it at the end of the game. Coach Harbaugh goes up to Lamar. Do you want to go for it on 4th?
Now, that was awesome.
There was no chance that I thought the Kansas City Chiefs were going to stop him on that play. I knew what was coming, and I knew what was going to happen. I knew they had won the game at that point. And then the other thing I'll throw in about that game, I won't digress too much on it because as soon as I start doubting the Chiefs and talking shit on the Chiefs, they'll bounce back and have a crazy win, blow somebody out. But they shot themselves in the foot that game. The interception that Patrick Mahomes threw, you have like 2 or 3 dudes hanging on your legs, man. Just take the sack sometimes, right? He's so used to, making those crazy plays that it kind of backfired on him on that one. And then, of course, Clyde Edwards-Helaire fumbling the football at the end of you just can't do that. You can't do that. So they shot themselves in the foot. That was kind of surprising to me to see them melt down like that, but also to see the Ravens kind of uprise like that. Lamar Jackson take the game by the throat and, go out there and win that football game. It was impressive.
Hold on. I just had to fact check something because I don't know what his numbers were. So I see Jason keep commenting, yeah, very pedestrian numbers, and he turned the ball over. Okay. This is like, I've seen Jason comment about Josh Allen. And I was like, they just beat the doors off of the Dolphins 35-0. But he's 17 of 33 passing, 179 yards, and a pick for Josh Allen after a loss. Yeah, so he is looking quite pedestrian. Jason, though, I agree with your comment below, my man. Mind readers today. The Las Vegas Raiders are my surprise of the week. I feel like this is kind of typical Raiders tradition, is to start a year hot, to win games they're not supposed to, and lose to bad teams. However, they're 2-0, and they beat two, playoff caliber teams in the AFC North. They come out with an overtime crazy ass win against the Baltimore Ravens, the team that just beat Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City on Sunday night, and then they come out and give it to Big Ben and the Pittsburgh Steelers with that defense. The Pittsburgh Steelers that just beat the Buffalo Bills in week 1. So football through 2 weeks has been very up and down, very weird competition wise. But yeah, they are definitely my surprise. The fact that they're 2-0. Now the question becomes, will they beat a bad team? It's the Raider way to beat the Chiefs and then lose to Jacksonville. Like, it's just what they do. Yeah. Maybe this is a different year. Like he mentioned Derek Carr. Maybe Derek Carr has, progressed and taken the next step. They even were without Josh Jacobs last week. But obviously Kenyon Drake stepped in his place. You mentioned Henry Ruggs. They have Darren Waller, obviously. They got some guys. Their defense has been a lot better than I expected, though.
Yeah, the defensive line is pretty good.
They gave up points to Baltimore, but they made Lamar fumble twice. They sacked Lamar a couple times. And then they gave it to Big Ben on Sunday. So the Raiders defense has been really surprising so far.
Yeah, and Derek Carr has looked amazing. He's looked amazing throughout 2 games this season against 2 pretty good defenses in Baltimore and Pittsburgh. Still not sold. I'm kind of, you were kind of itching at it there. I'll believe it, after 5-6 weeks, if they're still, taking care of business.
Who do they got this week?
They got the Dolphins.
Oh, but I'm sorry.
It's a setup game.
I know this is a football show, but what do you know? Aaron Nola is down 2-0 in the second inning to the freaking Pirates. It's unbelievable, dude. Sorry, that was a little.
No, you're fine, man. Disappointing.
I'm sorry. Who did you say Jacoby Brissett they had this week? Oh, Miami.
Dolphins,
at home. They're going to be 3-0, dude.
It's a trap game, though.
Nah, no way.
Derek Carr is banged up, apparently. So, and that kind of leads into the next discussion. Just wanted to fly through some injuries around the league. But Derek Carr, apparently, I'm not sure what happened against Pittsburgh, but he was questionable at the start of the week. It looks like he's good to go. So that is good for Las Vegas. Big Ben, same game. He hurt his pectoral muscle, so he might be out for a while. It'll be interesting to see who comes in. Is it going to be Mason Rudolph, Dwayne Haskins? I'm not familiar with who's actually second on the depth card.
I would imagine it's Rudolph.
Yeah, I would imagine it's Rudolph as well. But just to fly through some, and you can kind of digress here. Obviously, we got Davis Mills starting tonight. We'll talk about him a little bit. Andy Dalton, that was a huge one. Everybody's been waiting for Justin Fields to get the opportunity. I think the Bears are going to be better with Justin Fields. I think he fits, their offensive line troubles. I think he's going to make David Montgomery better. He's going to make, obviously, Allen Robinson better. And he can run the football. He's very athletic, a mobile quarterback. We'll see. They're playing the Browns. It's a tough defense, so I'm not going to overreact if he has, a so-so game in his first outing. We mentioned Tua, fractured ribs. Who knows how long he's going to be out. They got Jacoby Brissett stepping in there. Carson Wentz, man, how the hell do you sprain 2 ankles, dude? Wow. I saw the tackle.
I will come to his defense for a second here because I know a lot of people are making jokes, and it is weird, dude. Like, how the hell do you sprain both ankles, right? But if you watch the Aaron Donald hit, not good.
Can't avoid. It's unavoidable.
Oh, Donald says 5-0 Pirates. Oh, good job, Knowles. Good job.
Oh, my goodness, Don.
Awesome.
Oh, my goodness. My mom says Wentz is out of walk, dude. So that's good. Hopefully he can.
Did he have 2 on?
Week. I think it was only for the high ankle sprain. That's usually the worst one. But yeah, hopefully he's good to go because they got a matchup. I believe it's the Titans this week. They need that game to stay in that division race. Aside from that, a couple running backs went down as well. I saw CMC stepped out of the game for a little bit. He came back. He's good to go. Dalvin Cook's dealing with an ankle injury. We saw Zach Ertz. He came down with COVID, apparently. AB's out with COVID. And then, of course,
both of them might play. They're both vaccinated.
Yeah, so there is a chance that they could play.
If they both, test negative, 2 negative tests in a row, they'll be able to play this week.
And then Jarvis Landry, notable from the Browns, wide receiver, but they do get OBJ back this week, which is good. Good point, Jason. Amari Cooper. He's questionable for Monday, so that'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
You mentioned one though. You mentioned one game that I was watching. Well, it was on Red Zone a decent amount at the 4:00 hour. The Dalvin Cook injury, dude. Minnesota is so dumb. They just kept forcing this dude out on the field, and he was just getting nicked up every possession, hobbling every possession. Trainers got to come out to him 3 times in the second half. Just sit the dude down. You're going to throw your franchise running back down the shitter. Like, just get him out of the game, dude. But you're right. A lot of injuries this week. Obviously, as we know as Eagles fans, it hit the Eagles locker room with BG and Brandon Brooks. Obviously, Rodney McLeod. Hopefully he's back soon, but he still hasn't played. So injuries all around the field and a lot to the offensive side of the ball, to be honest.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. Before we get into tonight's game, just to recap last week's Pigskin picks. Scotty went 1-1. I'm 2-0. We're both 2-0 on Thursday Night Football. So this week, Scotty and I are both 5-1 on the year. I'm going to assume we're agreeing, but we'll get into that one later tonight before we wrap up here. Both of our losses are upsets. I'm week 1, he's week 2. And it is the Indianapolis Colts and Carson Wentz that we tried to sneak a win away with. And it did not happen.
Do we need to pick our upsets and locks tonight? That's the question. Are you still going? Because I know I'm going to be out of town this Sunday, which I'm not.
We're doing Monday.
Sunday. We'll be on Monday.
You want to tweet them out? We'll tweet them out
let's
Sunday.
Tweet them out. Just keep track. Yeah, let's tweet them out because I do want to take a look first.
Yeah, I got a good record to withhold here.
Exactly. We got to
hold here. I
got to lock this upset in. This is gonna
man. I need time to think. Who's out? Who's questionable? Hold on now. But leading into our final segment of the show, Scott, Thursday Night Football.
Yeah.
Woo!
I'm excited to see the Panthers play. I'm not gonna lie. I like the Panthers. Texans. We'll see.
The only reason I have interest in this game is I do have Christian McCaffrey in one of my fantasy leagues.
Yeah, I do as well.
So I'm hoping he runs wild. And for all you curious people out there, I got another same game parlay going on tonight. Scotty knows all too well my current one leg losses on parlay. So we're hoping to right the ship tonight. But listen, man, what are you looking for in this game? You mentioned the Panthers. So what specifically are you looking for a little bit, if anything, in this for this Panthers team tonight?
So honestly, as I was doing some research, I wanted to pull this comment up from Don here from Drunk on Broad. The Panthers defense, I know a lot's been talked about CMC. Darnold is looking great in Carolina. He finally looks like he's got some stability. He's got some weapons out there. And he's got a good offensive coordinator in Brady there. But I'm looking at this defense that is currently number 1 in the NFL. It is the number 1 defense in the NFL right now. Mind you, they played the Jets and then the Saints last week. But they lead the NFL in total yards given up, total yards passing, yards rushing, points allowed, sacks. It's the best defense in the NFL right now. Will they be able to maintain that against better competition? We'll see. This isn't the game to test it out. But
no, it's not.
I'm interested to see if they can dominate the Texans, right? If their defense is that legit, if their offense is any good, they should be able to come out and stomp the Texans. They got an 8-point spread tonight. Do you think they cover the spread?
It is not in my parlay, but yes, I think they cover the spread. Listen, you're right. Their defense has looked really good. Let's continue to see what Sam Darnold and this offense looks like against lesser competition. To me, this game's a little intriguing, not to watch, but just to talk about after. The Panthers are 2-0. We already mentioned that in that division, right? And they just took it to the Saints.
Yeah.
And, me and you had higher expectations for them this year than most.
I believe we had them wild card, right? Wild card team.
They're in the hunt. Yeah, I think they're in the wild card. We definitely had them second in their division. My question is, will they take care of business? You have an abysmal Houston Texans team with their basically their third stringer. Tyrod Taylor is their starter now because of the whole Deshaun Watson issue, but he's their backup. Davis Mills is their third string quarterback, right? So if you're Carolina and you want to be taken seriously and you want to show people that you're for real this year, you better take care of business tonight. I don't mean just win the game. I mean take care of the Houston Texans.
Yeah,
not a down to the wire type game. You can't somehow. You just praise this defense. They can't be giving up no 27 points to the Houston Texans tonight.
Mills, third round.
Sam Darnold can't look pedestrian tonight. They need to look good on both sides of the ball.
Thing I got my eye on is Sam Darnold. Can he just abuse a not good team?
Yeah, and that'll be the only telling thing about this game. If the Texans come away with a win, all it tells you is that the Panthers aren't as serious as we thought, and it tells you nothing about the Texans because the Texans just stink. I don't care if they'll be 2-1 or not. Like I said, I have McCaffrey in this game. Scott, do you have any fantasy implications in this one?
So yeah, I got McCaffrey. I got McCaffrey in a couple leagues actually, and then I also have Robbie Anderson in a league, I believe, as well. I think I have.
You have Brandon Cooks in DSM, don't you? Or are you starting Brandon Cooks?
DSM, but I am sitting him. I'm going to wait and see with Davis Mills there. I don't know about that. Brandon Cooks has literally cooked this season. He's like a weapon out there. But yeah, I couldn't ride with him. I'm riding. I think I subbed in.
Jason. How in the blue hell do you have to start Davis Mills in one league? How does this happen to you? I'm not comprehending how he's even on your roster.
It's funny, Jason's comment in there. We actually just made a trade in the Drunk.
What league is this? What league is this that Carson, Tyrod Taylor are your running backs?
See, and it's a 2 quarterback league this isn't the same league because me and him just did a trade. I know that's not his quarterbacks. But he just traded me Jalen Hurts and Will Fuller for Antonio Gibson and Baker Mayfield. I made that trade. I got Alvin Kamara and CMC as my running back, so I don't need Gibson, and I did need some quarterback depth there.
There you go.
But yeah, we just made that was a pretty fair trade in my eyes. I think Antonio Gibson's still going to be a stud throughout the rest of the season. But as far as tonight, CMC don't got Brandon Cooks in the game. I think I have Mark Ingram in a league, but not starting, of course. But yeah, that's funny. He's got Davis Mills starting. Hey, man, you never know. It's Thursday night football. Shit gets weird sometimes. You never know. But nothing good should come of that, Jason. I'm not going to lie to you. Nothing good of it should come.
No, not at all. But all right, listen, man. Getting into this is what I have. If anyone wants to tell it, Scotty, let me know what you think. Yeah. The funny part is, like, I had put out my same game parlay last Thursday to you and Sam Wagman.
Yeah.
And I missed by an Antonio Gibson touchdown score. That one hurt.
You, dude.
That one hurt. Scott, I don't know if you know this. I'm up to 13 straight loss parlays by one leg. Not just like 13 straight losses, like one leg. So I've never seen anything like it. I'm really not lying to you.
Before you jump into your parlay for tonight, Sunday night football, excuse me, man. Tyson Williams cost me a $240 in winnings on like a $2 bet, man. So I had all I needed him to do is not fumble that ball at the goal line at the beginning of the game. And it went into Devin Duvernay's hands. He took it in himself. It was heartbreaking as I watched him in the fourth quarter drive it to within inches of the goal line again, and then they let Lamar Jackson run and do a flip into the end zone.
So, like, my more recent one, Monday Night Football, this was the last one I've lost that I think I sent you. I had same game parlay or whatever, and I hit everything except I had Aaron Jones touchdown score. I had Devontae Adams 75+ yards. I had Rodgers go over 250 passing. Derek Carr 200, or not Derek Carr. Jared Goff 200+ passing. I had Hawkinson 25 or 50+ yards, and then I had Aaron Jones 75+ rushing yards. He got to 68, and they didn't put him back in the game for the last 2 possessions of the game. And I missed by 7 or 8 rushing yards on that one. So listen, here's why I say to tail me or not tail me on this one. A, stay the hell away from me because I'm on some sort of cold streak you've never seen before. Or B, my luck's got to change soon, right? It's got to happen, right? So here's what we're rolling with tonight, okay? We got Carolina money line, not spread, money line. Just make it simple. I don't need to be sweating out an 8-point spread for a couple leg parlay. Just the money line. I got CMC anytime TD score. I think he's got to find his way in the end zone.
They give him the ball way too much.
CMC to get 75 or more rushing yards. Mark Ingram to get 25 or more rushing yards. DJ Moore to get 50+ receiving yards. Robbie Anderson 25+ receiving yards. Brandon Cooks 50+ receiving yards. $20 pays out $541 and change.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it's interesting. And I put Mark Ingram at 25 yards, but I know they have a plethora of running backs.
Yeah, you got to hope he has been the most impressive throughout the season so far.
You got to figure he can get me 25 rushing yards, right?
Yeah.
And you got to figure Robbie Anderson can get 25 receiving yards, right?
You got Davis Mills in there anywhere?
No, Brandon Cooks I have for 50 yards. That worries me because of the quarterback play, but he's their number one target. He's been hot all year. 50 yards. That's one catch possibly.
That's what I'm saying. The one thing, I'm not going to lie to you. I took a parlay with Davis Mills. I think he was sitting at like 212 yards. They're going to have to pass a lot, I'm assuming. I'm assuming that
Probably.
the Panthers should be able to get a lead on them. So I think you should be good. Brandon Cooks is the go-to guy there. I just couldn't risk it with fantasy. But yeah, I had Davis Mills over the 212 just for shits and giggles, honestly. But no, I also had him with, I think he was sitting at 0.5 interceptions. I had the over on that. I think he's going to throw a pick or 2 tonight. I had Robbie Anderson at 43.5, so 44 receiving yards. And then I had CMC at over 120 total yards. So receiving, rushing. They get him way too involved. The only thing that could come back to bite me with that is if they get a big lead and he kind of, sits out the rest of the game. But, I didn't put too much money into this game. These are too unpredictable. I won't say the Panthers, but the Texans are too unpredictable for me. But I definitely like your parlay there. I think you got a good shot. You are right. It would be Brandon Cooks out of everything that would cost you. I do.
You see, that's the issue, Scott. Every parlay I whip up, I like it. and listen, not to toot my own horn in a shitty situation, but I got a reason to like it. 7-leg parlay, 6 of them are right. 8-leg parlay, 7 of them are right. I just miss by 1. And it's not 1 like I miss by a lot. It's not like I miss it's not like I take a receiver to get 75+ yards and he gets like 11 yards. It's I miss by 7 rushing yards from Aaron Jones. It's I picked Derek Carr under 330 yards on Monday Night Football, and he gets the ball back with 36 seconds left and takes the over for me. Like it's stuff like that. That's what's really biting in the ass. It's Antonio. It's J.D. McKissick getting the ball on the goal line instead of Antonio Gibson for a touchdown.
The bigger back.
Yeah, it's really mind-boggling, dude. But the ship has to right itself. It's got to turn around, and it turns around tonight. You heard it here first on Turf Talk. Scott, as we wrap up, listen, man. If you say the opposite of what I'm thinking, I might just quit the show because I'll be really confused. Who you got winning tonight?
I got the Panthers tonight, man. I do think they cover the spread. The spread is 8, sitting at 8. Last time I checked, I don't know if that's
it's at 8 still.
But yeah, I got them covering the spread. Score wise, it's hard to gauge it. I'm gonna go 27. I don't know who this Davis Mills guy is, so don't take my score.
He's going to light the world on fire tonight, right?
27-10. 27
Wow.
to 13.
Ass whooping. Panthers take care of business for Scotty.
They better, man.
I'm going with Carolina. Shocker. And I got the Carolina Panthers. I'll go 24. Houston Texans 14. 24-14 will be the final score of this one. I can definitely see Carolina putting up more points than 24, but it's just what I'm feeling. I really didn't want to predict them to go over 30. I feel like that could be a slight reach, but who the hell knows?
Offense that good. I mean, we'll see. We'll see down the line.
That is going to wrap up this Thursday night edition of Turf Talk. Obviously, catch us every Thursday night right here live on DSM Media on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter at DSM_media. Follow us if you haven't already, and we'll hit you back with a follow as soon as we see it or as soon as we can. Every Thursday night, 7 p.m. right here. Normally, Sundays, 10 a.m., getting you ready for the Eagles and full slated games. This weekend, Scotty will be away. I'll be away. The Eagles, luckily, don't play till Monday night. Eagles, Cowboys, special edition, 7 p.m. Monday night. Turf Talk to get you ready for that game. Talk about the slated games that happen on Sunday. And we'll be raffling off our Jalen Hurts t-shirt Monday before the game kicks off. So if you haven't done it already, guys, go to our Twitter at DSM_media. It's our pinned tweet right now, I believe still. Follow us, retweet the tweet, tag someone, and you're entered for a chance to win the Jalen Hurts t-shirt giveaway. And then in our link tree is all our other socials. If you send us proof in our DMs that you follow or subscribe to any of the others, it is one extra entry for every social that you provide proof of. And that's that, Scott. We got some more stuff coming on the way. We got another announcement coming Monday night. As far as big things here on DSM Media, possibly, hopefully, knock on wood, some articles, including some merch coming very shortly. It's actually it might be out now, but we're hoping it stays out past midnight. He's having some issues getting it going, but guys, as soon as we know for sure that it is out, we will be dropping the link for our merch.
Jason, we were going to do the Jalen Hurts jersey if the Eagles won last Sunday.
Yeah.
We couldn't do it after a loss, but later on in the season, we got you. Just stay tuned, stay with us, and we will definitely get you guys involved.
Yes, sir.
We will definitely get you guys some gear out there. We always want our Birds fans dressed nicely. So thank you guys for all tuning in. Thank you for the comments. Thanks for engaging. That's what we love about the show. We will see you on Monday night. And we might have a special guest, maybe.
Oh, yeah. I forgot to even tease that. Have a nice night, guys.
Peace, guys.